Happy 2019, everybody. Welcome back to the Tacomaholic channel. I promise I was not hungover yesterday. Mostly, for the most part. Just trust me. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a fantastic 2019. Comment below, let me know what your resolutions are. My resolution for 2019 is to spend more money on the Tacoma. And I'm feeling pretty confident that I can get it done. Wishing you all the best for the next year. I am super excited to see where the Tacomaholic channel will go this year. At this time last year, early January 2018, I had just 5,000 subscribers. And now a year later, I'm sitting at 22,500. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you for helping the channel grow over the past year. And we're gonna go ahead and set the goal for 2019 at 35,000 subscribers. Help me do anything you can to help the channel grow. Share it social media. Let's get the name out there. And the topic for today's video is the top 5 things to derp on your Tacoma. So before we get into that, if you don't know what derping is the street Tacoma slang for Plasti Dip. And I'm pretty sure you guys have probably heard of Plasti Dip before. Plasti Dip is great if you are looking to paint stuff on your truck without it being permanent. So like with paint, if you don't like the way it looks or if you mess up, you know, you gotta sand it off or use paint stripper, all that stuff to it's sort of a pain to remove. Plasti Dip will follow the same principles as painting as far as, you know, prepping the surface, making sure it's at least 50 degrees outside, all that kind of stuff. And I will do a video on how to properly derp stuff on your truck as soon as the weather warms up, but early January, you can see beautiful overcast day, not exactly ideal painting conditions. So the best part about Plasti Dip is whatever you're painting, I'm just gonna use the term paint, even though this isn't paint, it's like a rubberized coating. But whatever you are plasti dipping with this stuff, if you don't like it, if you just let it dry and you put on enough light coats, you can just peel it off. So perfect thing to sort of get into. This is one of the things a lot of people sort of start with when they start down that long, dangerous road of modding their Tacoma. Just because, like I mentioned, if you don't like it, you can peel it off. So today, we will go over my top 5 things to plasti dip or derp on your Tacoma. And the first 3 out of 5 things on this list all have to do with getting rid of that hideous chrome that your Tacoma comes with from the factory. Yes, I know some people like chrome, but I would guess the vast majority of us nowadays really don't prefer it, at least on Tacomas. If you're driving an old muscle car, that's great, but Tacomas, not so much. Now the first up on this, I can't actually show you on my truck because I have completely debadged my truck, but you know, if I can remember the placement of it, the chrome badges for your Tacoma, I want to say it says Toyota or Tacoma right over here. And then if you have a 4x4, there's a badge that says 4x4 right here. Then of course down the side, I want to say there's another one that says Tacoma right about here. And at least on my 2014 off-road, all of those badges were chrome. So not to worry, Plasti Dip to the rescue. That is probably by far the most popular thing, people's first choice for things to derp on their truck, just because they hate the chrome and they want it to get it to blend in. And when the Plasti Dip comes out, I should have mentioned this before, it does come out in like a nice matte finish, like a matte black, probably sort of to match like the texture and consistency of the door handles here from the factory, because Plasti Dip does have a little bit of a texture, not crazy amount like with bed liner or something, but definitely more texture than if you were just going to use regular rattle can spray paint. So first on the list, all the badges on your truck. Second recommendation of things to derp on your truck is the grill. And just like I mentioned, this, if you have an off-road Tacoma like mine, this does come chrome for some reason. I believe the sports, they come color match, which is certainly a nice feature. But on mine, all this right here was chrome all the way around down here. The center part was black. The Toyota logo was chrome. You can see this is actually a bed line, but you can see a little paint chip in there. So I got to redo that, but that's still chrome under there. Now I did Plasti Dip my grill at one point, but then I redid it just because I wanted a little more texture, a little more durable look of the bed liner. But again, I just peeled the Plasti Dip right off, and it'd been on there a few years. It still came right off, and then I, you know, prepped this and used my bed liner for that. I can't even imagine, like, I know some of you don't like the orange of my truck, but just think how worse it would look if that grill was still chrome. It would not flow with any of the lines. I like the black on orange theme, like with the headlights and everything, and I just can't stand chrome anyway. If you didn't know, my truck is actually I think the paint color is like crystal black silica under there, and I despised it from the factory. I don't know why Toyota throws so much chrome on their vehicles, but grill, definitely the second choice to recommend derping on your truck. And coming to the back, we're gonna go ahead and Plasti Dip the rear bumper. Now, obviously I am running an aftermarket bumper, but just like with the grill up front, the TRD off-roads, The factory bumper, I think it has like some plastic, black plastic on the top that you actually step on, but everything else is that hideous chrome. And again, just with the sports, I think the sports all come color matched, so definitely a nice feature that I'm super jelly about. Now, I did Plasti Dip my stock bumper at one point. Of course, you know, I'm running an aftermarket one now, but it's definitely the largest surface. I'd recommend derping on your truck to get rid of that chrome, but just like with everything else, just make sure it's clean, tape off around it, get your coats on there, and it's good to go. It might take maybe a can just for the rear bumper, just because it's so big, but man, what a difference, especially on my truck, because I said it was black. With that black bumper, made everything sort of tuck away and blend in nicely. All right, that gets rid of the top 3 suggestions just for getting rid of the chrome on your truck. The next one is just like a personal preference. If you want to completely change the look of your truck just for the cost of a few cans of Plasti Dip, I see a lot of guys, another one of the first things they do is actually Plasti Dip their factory wheels. Or obviously you could, you know, Plasti Dip whatever wheels you want. As long as they're clean, it'll stick to it nicely. And again, when the Plasti Dip comes out, the spray, it's like a nice matte black. Give it a nice little finish. And the factory TRD wheels, they look pretty good with the Plasti Dip on it. Again, you just sort of have to take your time. And when you do the wheels, if you are going to do the wheels, I'd recommend taking the wheel off, because you don't want to sit here and like be doing the can like upside down. You want to get these rotated. Take it off. That way, again, if the wheel's on the truck, you'd have to like tape everything you don't want Plasti Dip to get on, like the brake calipers, the rotors, everything in there. The lug nuts obviously too, so that's kind of a pain to put the blue tape around all the lug nuts. But get those wheels Plasti Dip. Looks, I think it looks pretty good actually. I might have gone that route, but I actually got, not these wheels, but the first set of wheels. It was one of the first things I did on my truck because they actually fit the factory 265 tires, and they would fit these 285 tires that I was going to go with, and they were Steelies, so they weren't that expensive at all. So I never actually Plasti Dip my wheels, but that was something I was going to consider if I didn't get wheels so soon. So if you guys have Plasti Dip your rims before, let me know. Comment below which color you went with. I said the basic Plasti Dip that I showed you, that can, it is matte black, but they do have a few other colors as well. But of course, matte black is probably by far the most popular choice to go with. All right, and we're going to stick right up here on the front for the 5th suggestion of the top 5 things to Plasti Dip on your Tacoma. And this one's probably the least done, just because, I don't know, maybe people don't consider it, but I'm going to recommend Plasti Dipping your fenders. You might not want to do this if you have a TRD Sport, just because I believe these are also color matched with whatever the body paint is. But on the off-roads, they are black, and it's not like a paint, it's just like a black plastic. So if you are Plasti Dipping those, that matte black, it'll blend in perfectly anyway if you have an off-road, and it'll give you an added layer of protection from like swipes and stuff, because of course the fenders, aside from like your mirror and stuff that's sticking out, the fenders are gonna, if anything's gonna get scratched first, it's gonna be the fenders. So that'll give you a nice added layer of protection. And again, if you get scratched through the Plasti Dip, you can just Plasti Dip right over it and hide everything. Quick, easy fix. Okay everyone, that is it for this video. That was my top 5 recommendations for things to derp on your Tacoma. Comment below, let me know which one you like the best, and if you plan on doing any of them to your truck. I see a lot of people sometimes like Plasti Dip stuff on the inside of their truck also, like some of the panels, just to make them a black color. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of like painting or using anything fumey like that on the inside of the truck, just because it takes so long to evaporate. You guys remember, I just actually painted, walk around here to the truck, my Miso molly rack up there. I know everything's dark, but I literally had to leave that like in my basement for 2 weeks while it aired out, and I can still get a little bit of a, not a strong paint smell, but you know, more than I'm comfortable with. But so that's really why I generally won't recommend painting or dipping anything that is on the inside of your truck, but you know, that's your call. You can do whatever you want. Thank you so much for stopping by and supporting the channel by watching this video. If you guys would like to be my best friend, support the channel even more, and help me grow exponentially in 2019, go ahead and check out the Tacomaholic Patreon page linked right down below. I am working on like setting up a tier system for that, where you guys get rewards and special perks, bonuses, and everyone who is a Patreon, even if you just pledge $1 a month, you will get posts that are only available to my patrons on Patreon, showing upcoming mods, give you sneak peeks of what's to come. Thank you so much for stopping by. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video.